Hey, this is Andrew bringing you another Keyforge deck review. This one is going to be Eulalia Dinoch Princess, and it's Mars Logos Dees. But before I jump into it, these three decks I got through a trade with, a trade and purchase kind of combined with Jupiter from New York, who does the Fifth Planet podcast. He was looking for a deck with punctuated equilibrium, and so I asked him if he was interested in the in a deck I opened recently and reviewed on here called The Man Who Exhorts the Eagle. I think it's Who or That. The Man, I think it's The Man Who Exhorts the Eagle. So we worked out a trade for this deck that I'm showing you first, and then afterwards I happened to see a couple other decks of his that I was really interested in. Said, hey, can we talk about this? And ended up, he found another of my decks that he was interested in, and then I threw in some cash as well. So I ended up sending him 2 decks and some money. He sent me 3 decks, and the rest is history. So now he does a lot of dealing in decks, and put them in these burger token boxes, which is super cool. I mean, that's extra nice. I didn't expect that. And so thanks, Jupiter. And it came quickly. I think we worked out the deal over the weekend, and I think he shipped on Monday, and it got here on Wednesday. So pretty good deal. And really nice guy too. So would highly recommend dealing with him if you're interested in that sort of thing. And here we go. So, and by the way, the burger token boxes, they're really nice. I think they sell a pack of 25 of these for $20 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. And you know, if you just want to store a sleeveless deck, it's a really nice little box. So, and you can see through it, all that. It's really nice. Okay, I don't know if this is not sorted according to house. So we're just going to do this as it comes out. I'll sort the other ones before I do them. Anyway, so here we go. We're just going to kind of get the cards as they come. So we have a Bat Drone, 2-power robot with Skirmish, and after it fights, it steals 1. Key Abduction, so gains us a bonus amber. Return each Mars creature to its owner's hand. Then you may forge a key at +9 current cost, reduced by 1 for each card in your hand. We have a Spectral Tunneler. That is an artifact with bonus amber. Choose a creature. For the remainder of the turn, that creature is considered a flank creature and gains Reap. Draw a card. We have 3 Fates. Gain us a bonus amber and destroy the 3 most powerful creatures. Mind Warper, 2-power Martian Scientist with Elusive. It can exhaust to choose an enemy creature and have it capture 1 from its own side. Very nice. We got a Phase Shift. It's an action that lets you play 1 non-logos card this turn. Help from Future Self, which of course means we're going to have a Timetraveller in here. And Jupiter says he just doesn't have good luck with Timetravelers. So hopefully I'll have better luck. Help from Future Self gains you a bonus amber, and you search your deck and discard pile for a Timetraveller, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Phosphorus Stars stuns each non-Mars creature and gives you 2 chains. We got a Mother Gun. It's an artifact that exhausts to reveal any number of Mars creatures cards from your hand, and you deal damage to a creature equal to the number of Mars cards revealed that way. Very interesting stuff. Zorg enters play stunned. It's a 7-power beast, and before it fights, you stun the creature it fights and each of that creature's neighbors. It's a huge creature, so you can use it to knock out other big creatures, and stun their neighbors, or use it on an elusive creature to get essentially a repeat tremor. Effervescent Principle. Each player loses half their amber, rounding it down, and you gain a chain. Now I don't see a lot of archives yet, so ideally we'd like to archive this to use it at the right time. No archives yet, but we'll see how that goes. Titan Mechanic. 6-power cyborg scientist, and while it's on a flank, each key costs -1, yours and your opponent's. Arise is an action that has us choose a house, return each creature of that house from our discard pile to our hand, and gain a chain. I actually hadn't thought before about the application of this with the Key Abduction, because if you played this on 1 turn and return even let's say Mars creatures, but maybe Logos creatures to your hand. Leave them in your hand, you have a big hand now, and the key abduction actually becomes kind of a good deal, even if you don't have anything else crazy to go with it. Pit Demon is a 5-power demon that can exhaust to steal 1. We have another copy of 3 Fates. We have another Mind Warper. We have a Doc Bookton, 5-power human scientist that after she reaps, she draws a card. We have our Timetraveller. It gives us a bonus amber. It's a 2-power human scientist. When you play it, you draw 2 cards, and it can exhaust to shuffle itself into your deck. We have a Mind Barb. Gain a bonus amber, and your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Experimental Therapy is an upgrade that causes the creature it's attached to belong to all houses. When you play it, you stun and exhaust the creature. Not bad to put on the Zorg, especially if it's already stunned from playing it the turn before. Not bad to put on the Pit Demon. I mean, really not bad on any of these. We have a third 3 Fates. That's pretty interesting. We have a Blipip, 2-power Martian scientist. After it reaps, the next Mars creature you play this turn enters play ready. Twin Bolt Emission gives us a bonus amber, and you deal 2 damage to a creature and deal 2 damage to a different creature. Restringuntus is a 1-power demon. After you play it, you choose a house, and your opponent cannot choose that house as their active house until it leaves play, until Restringuntus leaves play. Very nice control card. Tunk is a 6-power robot with 1 armor, and after you play another Mars creature, you fully heal Tunk. We've seen a bunch of other Mars cards, so we actually get good value out of this. I play tested this online a bit. That really does fire. Overlord Wrecking is a 7-power demon that says after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Overlord Wrecking, put that creature into play under your control. This is a fantastic card. If you employ it well, you can get really good value. Gongoozle. It gives us a bonus amber, does 3 damage to a creature, and if that creature is not destroyed, then its owner discards a random card from their hand. I mean, at that point, this is a better Mind Barb, right? Because that gives you the same effect as Mind Barb, plus you did 3 damage to something. Or if you just kill something, that's pretty good too. That's probably even better than the discard effect. Succubus is a 3-power demon that says during their draw card step, your opponent refills their hand to 1 less card. More good control. That plus the Restringuntus is pretty rough. We have another Mind Barb. The one thing I think you have to be careful of, by the way, here with the Gongoozle and the Mind Barbs and the Restringuntus, is let's say you have the Succubus and the Restringuntus out, and your opponent is like, they're down to 5 cards, right? And let's say they drop a couple creatures on the board. They're not able to deal with either of these, but they just drop a couple creatures on the board. Let's say you throw your Pit Demon into 1 creature and you kill the other with Wrecking, something like that. Well, at that point, let's say you Mind Barb. This might actually be the wrong play, because now what you're doing is you're cycling their hand. And maybe they're close to getting locked out and you actually knock out of their hand the cards that they can't play. So you just have to be careful with that. It's not always the wrong choice, but you just have to be, I don't know, sometimes it's the wrong choice. Okay, Vizima Thinkdrone, 3-power Martian scientist. After it reaps, you can archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. I'm trying to think of some interesting targets for that here. Most of these I wouldn't want to do that with. I'd want to keep these things on the board. Maybe a Titan mechanic in the right conditions you want to archive, but you probably just want to cover it. Timetraveller is a really good target for that, for archiving. Spectral Tunneler maybe if you don't think you're going to really use the Spectral Tunneler and you just want to play it for the Amber next time you get a chance. That's not a bad deal. Maybe the Restringuntus because you need to replay it out the next turn and change what house it's pointing at or something. Yeah. Maybe the Grecking because it's almost dead and you need to recharge it. Scrambler Storm gives you bonus amber and says your opponent can't play action cards on their next turn. So that's some control in Logos, which is pretty good. Ammonia Clouds deal 3 damage to each creature. Obviously that's going to kill a lot of our creatures here, so we want to be careful how we employ that, but at the right moment it can be really good. Pandemonium gives you an amber, a bonus amber, and each undamaged creature captures 1 from its opponent. That can be really good amber control in the right circumstances. We have another Mind Warper. That's a 3rd Mind Warper. And a 2nd Blipip. And then lastly, we have a Mother. It's a 5-power robot scientist that says during your draw card step, you refill your hand to 1 additional card. So what we have here is a Logos that is really going to accelerate us quite a bit. If we can keep the Mother on the board, if we can get Timetraveller and Doc Bookton out, we can help ourselves forge fast under the right conditions. We have a phase shift to get interesting things out on the board. I mean, imagine a turn where your opponent has no, you finish your opponent's creatures off maybe with a Twin Bolt Emission, you play Scrambler Storm, you play phase shift, and then you play Restringentus, right? Like they're going to be probably good chance that they're locked out for a turn, at least. And then you can do some cool stuff after that. The Mars, the Blipips really speed things up. It has amber control with the Mind Warpers, board control with the Zorg and the Tunk, and potentially a good key cheat with key abduction if the conditions are right. And actually, cool trick, if you have Blipip on the board and you reap with it and then you forge with key abduction, then when you play Blipip back out, it's going to come into play ready actually. Which means you can reap with it and then maybe put in a Mind Warper ready or something like that, right? Very interesting stuff you can do there. And in the Dees, we have just a lot of control options. We have amber control, we have hand control, we have house control, we have board control, we have more amber control, and really I hadn't thought before about the possibility of doing an Arise into key abduction. That is quite interesting. And again, you could do it with either the Logos setup if you have a lot of Logos in the discard, or the Mars setup. I think the D setup is probably the least attractive for doing that for 2 reasons. One, first because it's, you probably just want to play the creatures out, and also because that's the least creature heavy house in here. But I think there's some really interesting stuff that can happen there. So that is Eulalia Dinoach Princess. I hope you, Priestess rather. I hope you enjoyed going through that with me as much as I enjoyed walking through it. I am excited because I saw a new thing to try as we were walking through here, and I am excited to try it out. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you around. Thanks, and happy forging.